to build a dormitory in the University of Chicago campus, which was mere blocks from their home. It's about 2 miles away. At this time, the university had, and especially the Columbian Exposition, had really began to build up Hyde Park. When she first came here, it was practically farmland. The campus itself was a swamp. She decided to give a parcel of land that had been in the Hitchcock family. This was located downtown at LaSalle and Madison Streets. As far as I know, according to the documentation I have, we still own that land. We combined it with another parcel that owned the entire block. And that's probably good. There's currently a hotel there. It's a quite valuable piece of land, and it's actually where our endowment comes from. The endowment's actually off of that piece of land. She took a quite unusual stand in both the design, construction, and running of Hitchcock. While most benefactors or benefactresses would have just given the money, had it named after themselves or a family member, and that would be it. She took a very active hand in every aspect of the dorm. At the very beginning, once the Board of Trustees had accepted the gift and then began planning to actually have the building designed, she was not happy with their choice of architect. The university had tasked Shipley Retallack Coolidge, who designed many of the buildings on campus, and were pretty much de facto university architects at the time, to design Hitchcock. And to the point they actually made preliminary sketches for a Charleston Truck Hall. She was not happy with being consulted and sent in a letter to William Rennie Harper. I am not pleased that the building should be put up as my expression of it, an adequate memorial to my husband, as to my idea of what a boys' dormitory should be, but I have not been consulted at all. This did not please the Board of Trustees very much. They really went full control. They even voted at first to continue with Shipley Retallack Coolidge and ignore her demands. But William Rennie Harper stepped in, and with his help, she convinced the board to actually allow Dwight Perkins to submit plans. She picked Dwight Perkins as his mother and her had been close personal friends. He had planned to be an architect for a number of years, and as he began preparations for college, there was money concerns that he would actually be able to pay for not only tuition, but actually living costs. Him and his mother were over at Mrs. Hitchcock's house one night for dinner, and he started talking about this. And it was then that she offered him to cover all of his living expenses while in college. He then enrolled in MIT. He took 3 years to get an architecture degree, and so for another year as a teacher before returning to Chicago. And once back in Chicago, he slowly built up his practice. He first worked with D.H. Burnham & Co. as Daniel Burnham was working on the Columbian Exposition, its planning, its design at the time. He stepped in and was technically his secretary, but in actuality he ran the firm while Burnham was busy doing the work for the exposition. Not long after the exposition ended, Burnham came back, and Perkins felt that with the experience he had at Burnham Co., he could start his own practice. At that time, probably his most influential building was actually Steinway Hall, which was a 12-story office building downtown built for the Steinway Panel Company. It wasn't that the the design was that influential. It was pretty standard Chicago style office tower. But the fact that when he went to negotiations to how he was going to be paid, he asked if he could establish a studio in the attic of the building, and the Steinway Company agreed. It wasn't a very large space, even though at a time there would be at least 5 or 6 architects working there. It was still very cramped, so you may have had 2 or 3 architects working shoulder to shoulder on different projects at the same time. But this environment attracted many leading Chicago architects, or ones that would become leading, such as Frank Lloyd Wright. Because of the type working conditions, you had to have much cooperation, and you had to really work together to not interfere with each other. But at the same time, you would see a lot of design cues from one architect and another architect's work because they were influencing each other because they worked so closely together. And this cooperation is what really started the Prairie style school of architecture between Frank Lloyd Wright, Perkins, Marion Mahoney Griffin, among others. Combine their design influences together, and the Prairie style came out of that. And this sharing of ideas is very apparent in the house that Wright designed at the same time as Hitchcock. This is our Hiller house. It's actually here at Hyde Park. It's at between 51st and 52nd on Kimbark. One of the major things that stands out from the Heller house is the sculpture right here. Many of you, especially if you're Hitchcock, may this looks somewhat familiar, especially larger view of it. Much like the sculpture in the green room. Especially because it's the same sculptor did both works, Richard Bach. And there's another thing you would see multiple architects use the same associates to do various other parts of the building, such as the sculpture work. Hitchcock, Bach not only did the plaster soffit around the library, but also the ornate work around the doorways. And this ornamentation is one of the reasons we're on the National Register. It's not that though we have had some famous names live in the building, the main reasons we're on the register are for this ornamentation, the lit glass windows, and the interior detail in the library. Once Annie had actually convinced the Board of Trustees to select Perkins as architect, then came him actually designing the building. He did make a few preliminary sketches in early 1900, and upon seeing these, the